I'm coming to a much more clear understanding of what it means to trust God, and like kind of putting like I just think specifically creatives, because the creative career path is so risky. Nothing's guaranteed, really. You know, if you want to be an entrepreneur in that space, and it's not always seen as legit, which is funny because when you look at what drives culture, and it's entertainment, it's creativity, it's music, it's movies, they are the most legit things in our world. Yet when you're starting, it seems so illegitimate. Like you'll never make money, and there's a lot of insecurity and fear there. And for me, I think God has just been speaking like, hey, put your money where your mouth is. And like, I think that's the message to all creators who follow the Lord is like, do you trust God as provider and sustainer of all things? And if you do, then what are you like, why aren't you pouring into these gifts more? You know, like we get too caught up in money, and we get too caught up in attention and metrics and all of this stuff and following trends. And I really do think that, and I've even noticed this in myself, we just lose sight of the creator. We lose sight of the creator in the midst of us creating. And I don't think I've lost sight of the creator, but I don't rest enough. I definitely don't rest enough. And I'm finding because I had to give this talk, I've been finding this new conviction about rest. It's part of the creative process.
What was the talk?
I gave that talk to the worship leaders about creativity and music and your identity as a creative, and it's inherent to who you are. And I said, built into the creative process is rest.
Yeah.
6 days of intense creation, and then you rest. And I don't do that well. I feel like, but God, I need that seventh day. I could get so much more done. You know, Chick-fil-A actually makes more money because they're closed on Sunday. I could go on and on about that, but I'm like fascinated by that concept. But they make more money because of the demand, you know, and it's a long-term play for them. And I think it's the same thing with the Lord. Like God can do more with us if we trust him with our rest. Is an act of trust. It's not just to sleep. Rest is truly saying, God, I believe that you can do more with my rest than I can with that time myself. And that is where God is like kind of rocking my world right now.
Yeah. Love that.
So
I know that like, I feel like there's a lot of advice that has been given throughout the podcast and just a lot of encouragement. But I think if there was just like one like action item, like one thing to like encourage people of all creative levels, like what would that be?
I would say I might give two quick things. One would be like today, when you hear this podcast today, find someone that you can look at them and say, I believe in you. Because we all desire to be believed in our fatherhood, in our vocations, in our jobs, in what we post, in the picture of the meal we posted online today, you know, like whatever. I mean, honestly, why do we share things? Because we want people to believe in who we are.
And let's just note real quick, I don't want to interrupt that train of thought, but there are people out there who do believe in others, but they haven't named it.
Right.
So there are people you're thinking of.
Like literally name it. Like I looked at a worship leader this weekend before they left, and I just looked them in the face and I said, hey, I believe in you. And it's not because you write great songs. It's because I just believe in what God is doing in your life, and I want to help. And because think if I went through my life and never had, like, I would not be the person I am if I can't tell stories about, people did that to me. And you don't have to, like Josh wasn't a musician, but he believed in me. Yeah. So that would be one. I would just say, hey, go believe in somebody today and tell them. Don't maybe texting is to break the ice, but go tell them, call them, look at their face. And then I would say for you as a creative, if you're listening to this, I would say do something. Like cars make something. Cars don't drive unless you step on the gas pedal. Like make something. Like and really enjoy the beginning, because that's where God is working the most.